All right, welcome to the deep dive.
Hey there.
Today, we're locked in on a game that's been generating some serious buzz. Fantasy Li-Fi, The Girl Who Steals Time. It's landing May 21st, 2025.
Right around the corner.
And you're tuning in because, well, you want to get a real handle on what this game is all about, right? What makes it tick without having to, slog through endless forums and wikis.
Precisely. Yeah, we've plunged into the depths, Reddit discussions, YouTube video transcripts, combed through the official game websites, sifted through gaming news articles.
It works.
Pretty much. Our goal, just extract the absolute core stuff, the really fascinating bits you need to know so you feel truly in the loop about this potentially fantastic adventure.
Okay, let's unpack this then. For anyone just hearing about it, what's the elevator pitch for Fantasy Li-Fi? What kind of experience are we actually looking at?
So the general picture is kind of like a social slow life RPG, or maybe a cozy fantasy life sim. But the key thing, I think, to understand is just the sheer freedom it offers. Unlike some games that really push you down a rigid path, this one seems to let you chart your own course. You decide how you want to spend your time in its world.
Freedom, always appealing. Now, I keep seeing mentions of this life system. What's the deal with all the different lives?
Yeah. That's a returning element from the original Fantasy Life on the 3DS, and fans are really excited about it.
Right.
Think of lives as distinct job classes. And there are massive 14 of them this time around.
14? Wow.
Yeah, they fall into a few categories. You've got combat specialists like paladin, hunter, mercenary, and magician.
Higgers.
Exactly. Then gathering professions, angler, miner, woodcutter, farmer.
Resource folks.
And crafting experts, cook, blacksmith, carpenter, tailor, alchemist, and even artists this time.
Artists. Okay, interesting. 14 different jobs, though, that sounds like.
It's a lot. But the cool thing...
Like a lot to juggle. Are you locked into just picking one?
No, not at all. That's one of the core strengths, really. You can freely switch between these lives whenever you feel like it.
Oh, okay.
And what's fascinating here, and maybe streamlines things, is you can combine skills you learn from different lives.
How does that work?
Well, think of it like having a really diverse toolbox. You could be gathering resources as a miner, then instantly switch to your paladin gear if trouble shows up, maybe using some skills you learned as a different life even.
So no need for totally separate characters for everything.
Right. Or imagine being a cook who's also a farmer. You can literally grow your own ingredients. Could make the early game especially feel much smoother.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting for me. The title itself hints at something unique. The Girl Who Steals Time. How does that time-bending stuff actually play into the gameplay?
Yeah, that seems to be the central time travel mechanic. The whole narrative apparently revolves around your ability to shift between the present day on this seemingly desolate island and the same island as it existed 1,000 years in the past.
1,000 years? Whoa.
Yeah, and it's not just like a background detail. You'll be actively using this ability to unravel the mysteries behind why the island is in its current state. It sounds like it's deeply woven into both the story and how you interact with the world itself.
So it's not just about exploring a static world. You're interacting across time. I also heard you can build and customize things. Is that right?
Absolutely. That's a significant new addition. You get to create your own personalized island. And this goes way beyond just, placing furniture inside a house.
Oh.
You get terraforming tools. So you can actually reshape the island's landscape, create rivers, raise land masses, that sort of thing.
Seriously? You can sculpt the land?
Seems like it. And of course, there's a robust interior decorating system, too, for your home. Supposedly a vast array of furniture and styles to choose from.
Okay, so you can scratch that creative Animal Crossing type itch alongside the RPG adventuring. It sounds like a really nice balance, actually.
Yeah, potentially.
What about playing with friends? Is multiplayer a big focus here?
Yes, multiplayer is definitely a key component. The game supports 4-player online co-op.
Okay.
So you can team up with friends, explore the world, tackle challenging dungeons, and even collaborate on rebuilding your islands together.
Oh, you can build together. Nice.
Seems so. And for those on Nintendo Switch, there's also local co-op for playing in the same room.
And is it cross-platform? Can I play with someone on a different console?
Yes. Big news on that front, it supports crossplay. So PC players can team up with Switch players, PlayStation players, Xbox players.
That's fantastic.
It really is. No more of that awkward, oh, you're on that platform scenario. Everyone can potentially join in, which is a massive win for playing with friends.
Always a huge bonus.
Yeah.
Anything specific to keep in mind when it comes to the multiplayer side, like subscriptions or...
Yeah, the usual stuff applies. You'll need the standard online subscriptions for each platform, Nintendo Switch Online for Switch, an Epic Games account seems to be needed for PC, PlayStation Plus for PlayStation, and Xbox Game Pass for Xbox.
Gotcha. Standard practice.
Also, one little detail.
Yeah.
While your progress carries over between platforms thanks to cross-save, which is also great.
Oh, cross-save too. Excellent.
Yeah. But the bonus items you might get from, say, the Digital Deluxe Edition, they don't automatically transfer unless you actually own that specific edition on each platform you play on.
Ah, okay. Good to know. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about the narrative that's driving all this. What's the story setup? How does it all begin?
So you start your adventure alongside this archaeologist named Edward. He's investigating a dragon fossil.
Okay, classic fantasy start.
Right. This investigation leads you to a deserted island, but then, bam, you're suddenly attacked by a menacing Darth dragon.
Oh, no.
And this attack somehow awakens the fossil, revealing it's actually a bone dragon. A battle happens, and you end up following this bone dragon through some kind of time gate.
The time gate.
Yeah, and this journey through time spits you out on the same island, but as it was 1,000 years in the past. That sets the stage for you to figure out, what happened? Why is it desolate in the present?
Definitely sounds like a classic setup, but with that really compelling time twist. And who are the memorable characters we'll be interacting with on this time-bending journey?
Well, we've already met Edward, the inquisitive archaeologist.
Right.
Then there's Rem. She's described as a mysterious young girl from a faraway kingdom. Apparently, she gives you a rather cryptic request involving something called a bone collar and a desire to destroy the gear, whatever that means. Her older brother is King Renoa. He's a respected leader, but apparently gets a little flustered when Rem is the topic of conversation.
Sibling dynamics.
Totally. You also encounter Trip, who's a talking bluebird, apparently made possible by some special translation device.
A talking bird, okay.
And Growler, who's an adorable baby dragon living with Rem. And, of course, the enigmatic bone dragon itself, the one with the power to traverse time.
Sounds like a charmingly quirky cast.
Yeah.
Now, when can we actually dive into this world ourselves? Let's just nail down those crucial release details again.
Okay, official worldwide launch date for Fantasy Li-Fi. The Girl Who Steals Time is May 21st, 2025.
May 21st.
And that's set to release simultaneously across all the platforms. PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
All at once. Good.
Yeah.
And there are different versions you can buy, right? What are the options there?
That's right. You've got the standard edition, priced at $59.99 US.
Okay.
Then there's a digital deluxe edition that costs an extra $10, so $69.99.
And what does the extra $10 get you?
The main draw on all platforms except the Nintendo Switch is early access starting May 18th. So a 3-day head start.
Okay. 3 days early.
Yeah. Plus, you get some exclusive in-game goodies, a special dragon mount, some themed weapons, and a unique outfit pack.
So definitely tempting for those who are super eager to jump in right away. Any other important release-related news we should be aware of? Hiccups or anything?
Yes, actually. There's a recent announcement about a slight delay specifically for the Xbox Early Access launch. Yeah, for those getting it through the Digital Deluxe Edition on Xbox. So while players on other platforms with early access could start on May 18th, Xbox players had to wait for the standard May 21st release.
Okay. Unfortunate for Xbox early birds.
A bit, yeah. Also, it's worth noting, and this has been a big discussion point currently, there are no announced plans for a physical release of the game outside of Japan.
The ongoing digital versus physical debate continues. That's bound to disappoint some collectors.
Definitely has caused some grumbling.
Yeah, and I thought I saw some whispers. Something about a special version for a newer Nintendo console. Is that real?
It is. A Fantasy Li-Fi. The Girl Who Steals Time Nintendo Switch 2 edition has been officially confirmed.
Okay.
This version promises, enhanced visual quality, better performance. The good news for owners of the original Nintendo Switch version is that an upgrade path will apparently be available.
An upgrade path, like you pay a bit extra.
Potentially. It says there might be a small fee associated with it in certain regions. Details are still a bit fuzzy, but the option will be there.
Okay, so a bit of a mixed bag on the release front then. Let's switch focus again. Let's talk about what the community is actually saying. What's the overall feeling among fans? And are there any, recurring worries?
Well, the excitement is definitely palpable. You can feel it, particularly from people who have those fond memories of the original Fantasy Life on the 3DS. That game clearly holds a special place for a lot of folks.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cult classic.
Totally. However, some concerns have definitely emerged, especially if you look at places like Reddit. The multiple delays the game has already experienced have understandably made some fans a bit cautious, you know?
Sure, delays always cause a bit of anxiety.
Right. And the price point, particularly for the Switch version, has raised some eyebrows too, especially considering those delays.
Yeah.
And like we just talked about, the lack of a physical edition outside Japan is a big sticking point for many collectors.
Right.
Oh, and some early glimpses of multiplayer gameplay footage. They apparently showed instances of stuttering, which has led to some concerns about the game's optimization, especially for online play. Hopefully that's smoothed out.
Yeah, performance, especially in co-op, is crucial. That's all understandable feedback. What about some of the more speculative stuff I've seen floating around? There was something about potential AI involvement in development.
Ah, yes. The possibility of artificial intelligence being used in the game's development has been a topic of discussion online.
Where did that come from?
It seems to stem from some comments made by Level 5, the developers, regarding maybe a high percentage of code or game asset creation involving AI.
Okay. And how are people reacting to that?
Opinions are pretty varied. Some fans are definitely worried about the potential impact on the game's artistic integrity, its soul, maybe, and the overall quality if AI-generated content is heavily relied upon.
Understandable concern.
Others think the comments might have been more general reflections on industry trends, not necessarily a specific indication of AI being used super extensively in this particular game. It's worth noting the precise extent and nature of AI's involvement aren't really clear right now.
Right, could be speculation getting ahead of facts. Interesting. And looking beyond just launching the game, what are fans hoping for in terms of long-term stuff? Replayability.
Post-game content is a major point of interest. Absolutely. Players of the original Fantasy Life remember sinking just countless hours into activities beyond the main storyline.
Like what?
Like maxing out all the different lives, tackling a huge array of side quests and challenges. There's a really strong desire for this new installment to offer a similar level of depth and long-term replay value.
Makes sense. Keep people playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, a key concern that pops up is avoiding really repetitive grinding. Some players felt the original game's progression, particularly for the crafting lives, could become quite monotonous after a while.
Ah, the grind.
Yeah.
Right.
So fans are really hoping for improvements there, maybe more engaging ways to level up those skills, acquire materials that don't just feel like a tedious chore, you know?
So learn from the past experiences, but definitely introduce exciting new elements. Makes total sense. Let's circle back quickly to some of those promising new features that are generating excitement. We've touched on time travel and island creation, but what other enhancements are really standing out?
Well, the time travel aspect really does seem central. It's not just a plot device. The idea of witnessing how the island physically evolves over 1,000 years and how your actions in the past might have actual repercussions in the present. That's a really intriguing concept.
Yeah, that could be really cool if done well.
And it's a significant departure from the original game structure. And like we discussed, the base building seems to go way beyond simple decoration. Those terraforming tools offer potentially a truly unprecedented level of customization for your personal island paradise.
Shaping the world itself. And didn't you mention something about the dungeons changing too?
Yes. They're described as ever-changing treasure groves that become personal dungeons.
Treasure groves.
Yeah, the idea seems to be you might plant a special seed, and instead of a plant, it sprouts a unique dungeon, maybe tailored to your progress, maybe even your playstyle. And each time you enter, the layout and the rewards are different, offering a constantly fresh experience. They start as treasure groves, but as you clear them, they evolve into your own personalized dungeons. Sounds like a really clever way to keep exploration feeling engaging.
A personal, dynamically changing dungeon that could add a ton of replayability. And how about just getting around this big world? Any new ways to navigate?
Well, the game apparently boasts the largest open world in the Fantasy Life series to date.
Bigger than before. Okay.
Yeah. So to help you explore all that, they've introduced new traversal abilities like climbing and swimming. Lets you reach previously inaccessible areas.
Good additions.
And, of course, you'll be able to ride mounts to cover those large distances more quickly. Plus, for folks who enjoy personalizing their avatar, the character customization options are apparently quite detailed. And importantly, changeable at any point in the game.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah, ties in nicely with the freedom to switch live. Right. Maybe you want a look that fits your current profession.
Okay, wow. We've really covered a lot of ground in our deep dive here. Time to maybe bring it all together. What are the key things as someone should take away as they look forward to the launch of Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time?
Ultimately, I think it looks like a really unique fusion. It blends that relaxing life simulation with deeper role-playing game mechanics. It's clearly building upon the beloved foundation of the original game, while introducing some really significant and potentially exciting new features. That time travel system, the deep island creation tools, those are big.
Yeah, those stand out.
And the inclusion of cross-platform play and cross-save, those are major modern additions. They offer players so much more flexibility in how and where they can experience the game, especially with friends.
And what's the final sort of temperature check on the fan base as we approach release day? Excitement, nerves.
I'd say there's a palpable sense of excitement, definitely, fueled by that nostalgia for the original, for sure.
Right.
However, that excitement is definitely tempered with a degree of, let's say, cautious anticipation. Given the game's development history, those delays, some of the concerns we talked about that have been raised by the community.
It's an understandable caution.
Yeah, people are clearly eager to dive back into that unique fantasy life experience, but they're also really hoping for a polished, engaging, and innovative game that, builds upon the strengths of the first one while maybe addressing some of its shortcomings.
Okay, makes sense. So here's a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. With this incredible freedom to live out 14 distinct fantasy lives, and the actual power to shape an entire island across the vast tapestry of time, what kind of life will you choose to lead first?
Good question.
Will you embrace the path of a heroic paladin? Maybe the satisfying craft of a meticulous cook, the boundless expression of a creative artist, or perhaps some kind of captivating blend of them all. This world really seems to offer a unique balance between those moments of tranquil relaxation and then thrilling adventure. And the choices, it truly seems, will be yours to make.
Lots to think about there.
Definitely. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.